Your brand new iPhone deserves the best protection, and the iLune 3-pack screen protector plus 3-pack camera lens protector has you covered. Don't take risks with your iPhone. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Kryna, your go-to source for all things in the world of agriculture and commodities. Today we're talking about the Indonesian palm oil market, which has seen some surprising shifts in recent times. So, you might have heard that Indonesia is one of the largest producers and consumers of crude palm oil in the world. That's right, the country produces over 50 million tons of CPO every year. But what's interesting is that almost half of that production is now being absorbed by the domestic market. Yeah, you read that right, almost half. According to the Indonesian Palm Oil Producers Association, CPO consumption in Indonesia rose to 23.8 million tons last year, while production fell to 52.7 million tons. That's a pretty significant drop, and it's largely due to the biodiesel mandate that's been driving up domestic use of palm oil. The association's chairman, Eddie Martono, told us that food consumption is now following closely behind energy demand when it comes to palm oil usage. And with Indonesia being both the world's largest producer and consumer of CPO, this means that the country is essentially meeting its own demand for the commodity. Now, some might say that's a good thing. After all, who doesn't want more palm oil in their kitchens? But what's interesting is that the global vegetable oil supply is actually becoming increasingly strained. With Indonesia and Malaysia struggling to keep up with production, prices are rising, and this could have some big implications for exporters like China and India. In fact, exports from Indonesia weakened last year, with shipments to India dipping by 28% in the first half of the year. And it's not just price sensitivity that's the problem. India's overall vegetable oil consumption is actually on the rise, with imported palm oil making up around 9 million tons of their annual needs. So what does this mean for the future of the Indonesian palm oil market? Well, according to Eddie Martono, regulatory clarity is key. The association is urging the government to issue clear land certificates for both corporate and community plantations, which would help ensure that smallholders can continue to produce palm oil sustainably. And speaking of sustainability, it's worth noting that Indonesia has an opportunity to not only meet its own demand for palm oil, but also export more of it to countries like India. After all, with the global vegetable oil supply under pressure, there may be a surge in demand for Indonesian CPO, if we can get our production and exports back on track. That's all for today's episode of Kryna, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis on the agriculture and commodities markets.